What a pleasure to be with you again today on this Tuesday, April 13th, 2021. And what a blessing to be here. And past couple weeks, few weeks really, more than a few, quite a few weeks, we have been looking at what is maybe called the spiritual disciplines, opening ourselves up to God. And we'll be wrapping it up next week. It's been really a pleasure to kind of go through these and kind of walk through them with you. It's always a great reminder to kind of see ways that we can connect better in our relationship with God. So I do hope these videos have been helpful to the extent maybe get you to think about something. And a lot of these are ones we already know, right? And today's going to almost sound like a made-up one, but this is a discipline, and it's something that you see in a lot of other spiritual disciplines. It's kind of a base for a lot of other spiritual disciplines that we've been looking at, like rest and retreat and some of those other opening up. But today's is slowing. Yes, slowing. And, that's to really kind of curb that addiction to the busyness, to the hurriedness, to that work, being a workaholic, and to learn to really savor the moment. I know we've looked at stuff like rest and the Sabbath and all these others, but slowing truly is a great way to truly focus on the presence of God. I think one Bible verse we can always look at to give that perfect example, right? And we probably all know it. Probably have all read it at some point, but Psalm 46:10, "Be still and know that I am God." In Mark 6:31, Jesus says, "Then because so many people were coming and going that they did not even have a chance to eat, he said to them, 'Come with me by yourselves to a quiet place and get some rest.'" I think slowing is something that obviously isn't encouraged in our workplaces, and isn't exactly a sought after trait or skill for a lot of people. But slowing is such an important part of really embracing and truly seeing what God is doing. There's a story, one of these books I'm reading, the author says, "A friend of mine tells how the Word of God came to her one day through her 4-year-old daughter. The mother was busy hurrying her daughter out the door when the little girl replied, 'Mommy, stop. Why are we always in a hurry when we never go anywhere important?' The little girl intuitively knew that hurry got in the way of what was important. Life is too precious to miss. The faster we go, the more likely we are to miss what really matters." And honestly, slowing down, there's not a whole lot I can really say that, you probably don't already know, but I think it's an important thing to remember as we interact with other people. Growth takes time. And especially if you are somebody in a discipler, disciplee relationship, where you are on a path of spiritual growth with other people, one thing to keep in mind is hurrying people along that spiritual journey can set them up to pretend they are further along than they really are. You just got to look at Jesus. He gave his disciples time and space to grow where they needed. slowing is an important part of our everyday journey. And sometimes we just need to take that moment and slow things down. And you ask, well, how can I do that when I got these kids? Or, I'm behind in my bills, or got all this work to do. And, the thing is, those things are there every day. Every day you got to deal with those things, and you have such a finite amount of time in each and every day, and you can't just not do nothing, right? So slowing is an important thing to really practice. And, maybe some things to help you in that, because I know it's hard to know where to really start, especially if you haven't been doing it through your life. So, maybe some deliberate slow down techniques that can provide some relief from frantic activity. How about driving in the slow lane? Now, I know a lot of people get in the passing lane and they drive slow in it. But believe it or not, a lot, especially on the highways, interstates, they have multiple lanes, right? And the right lane is for the people to go slow. But you still have people trying in the left lane to go slow. Like, no, we have a right lane for that, right? Like just stay in your lane, Getting enough rest. And I think, because we have that finite amount of time and we want to try to jam-pack all these things in there, sometimes we skip out on the rest. And, as we covered with the Sabbath, as we covered with rest and retreat, stuff like that, you got to get the rest. Maybe speaking more slowly. Trust me, from the South, I think I probably already speak slowly enough. Most people I know probably speak slowly enough. But thinking about what you're going to say and really contemplating the weight of it. Looking people in the eyes. So something I've learned in theater is looking people in the eyes makes me uncomfortable. But the longer you do it, the more comfortable you get. And so these things can be hard at first, but the more you do it, the more comfortable you get. Chewing slowly. As somebody who does like to eat, I can attest that chewing slowly truly does help you get the full breadth of what you're eating. Because if you're just chowing it down, you could be eating a rubber boot slathered in sauce, you wouldn't know. Sitting longer at the table, and I know at a restaurant, fast food, stuff like that, that's not preferable, but, taking that time to have some conversation around the table and just kind of taking your time. And maybe planning a buffer time between meetings and activities and things like that. There's so many things that we can do to help practice slowing. So one thing I want to challenge you to this week, church, and I know not every day is possible, but I would challenge you to do this every day. Just breathe. Just take a moment every day. Just take account of where you are. Take account of what God's doing in your life. Just look around you. I'm not talking about just looking directly in front of you and doing a 360 panoramic view. I'm talking about really look at all that is in your life, how God is working in your life, and not focusing on the task at hand, but focusing on the God in our lives. Right. So that's my challenge to you today and the rest of this week and moving forward, is to practice slowing. And as you work these disciplines into your life, I mean, these aren't just like, let me do this discipline this day and this discipline this day. These are all things that come together. So slowing is an intricate part to a lot of other disciplines that we've already talked about and will talk about. It's kind of like for anybody that's gone through college courses, oftentimes, or even in high school, there are prerequisites that you need to have kind of covered and passed in order to be able to fully understand higher level classes. And the same thing goes for with your spiritual disciplines. There are some that are such at the base of everything else, and if you have a hard time with that, you'll have a hard time with these others. So slowing is when I encourage you to truly take that time and really contemplate what it is in your life where you could have that time to just kind of slow down and really appreciate the journey and appreciate all the opportunities and mercies and the grace that the Lord has extended to us. Well, I hope this has been a beneficial video, and I look forward to doing these every week. And like I said, next week we will be wrapping up our section on opening ourselves up to God and moving to another aspect of spiritual disciplines. But it has been a joy to go along this journey with you. And I pray that they have been beneficial in some way. And I pray that you will be the hands and feet of Christ, and that these spiritual disciplines will help you truly grow in your relationship in order to help others grow in their relationship with Christ. Y'all have a blessed day, and be a blessing to somebody.